to be a relationship.
Everyone has baggage. You know what I'm saying? So with that happiness comes the baggage. So what if like before you get to know that person, or after the 2 years is up, like Jay said, you know what I'm saying, you realize that this person has been suffering from depression and she's been putting on this facade of being happy all the time, and now you have to deal with that. How can how do you then do you walk away from the relationship that the person is depressed, or the person is not, you know what I'm saying, her best self right now? You know what I'm saying, and I can't be my best self because this person is going through something. You know what I'm
It
saying?
doesn't necessarily make you unhappy though.
But it
Right.
can
Right.
though.
So like it can, which is a different thing, but that's not necessarily something to make someone unhappy. Like, yes, I need to help you through that, but just because you're dealing with depression doesn't mean that I'm going to be unhappy, you know?
So understand this, right? So if let's say you're dealing with someone who's going with some trauma, or dealing with something, or like depression, or had a super bad experience where they're just shutting down on you. You're trying to talk to them. You know what I'm saying, you're trying to get to know that person. You're trying to help that person through it, but they don't want it. You know, so they don't want you around them.
They got to go.
Huh? So that's what I'm saying. Everyone deals with trauma. Everyone deals with something that's affecting them differently. You know what I'm saying, regardless of whether you're happy, you're not going to be happy in that moment. You're not. You know what I'm saying, that person is not going to be happy in that moment, and it may not be because of you. Maybe because of something else. I can't. I think you can't say that, "Oh, if I'm not happy, I'm going to walk out," because that person will at that moment probably going to need you the most at that time. You know what I'm saying? So, do you value the relationship, or do you value your happiness more than what that person is going through? Because if you value, because everyone just said what love is, and what, you know what I'm saying, what compatibility is, and all this good lovey dovey stuff. You know what I'm saying? But that now we're talking about the hard stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now we're
So,
talking
So
about the
now,
time. You know what I'm saying? That person may not be their best self, may not be because of you, but they don't want your assistance, they don't want your love, they don't want anything from you at that time, because they're trying to process whatever it is that they're going through.
you
What
bring
do
up a
you?
good point. I think it goes back to what Janita was saying, though, right? Like it's not gonna always be happy, but there's a balance too, and everybody has their own limit, right? So, there are people where it's just like, oh, I don't like this. You're not happy. It's making me unhappy. I'm out. But then there
Mhm.
are other people. It's just like it's not gonna always be happy, right? So as long as I just feel like the relationship is healthy, usually, over 50% of the time we're good, or 60% of the time we're good. Like, I'm gonna help you get through whatever it is you're going through, and like, and we're gonna get through it, right? I made a commitment to you, so we're gonna get through it, and we're typically happy. But right now, there's just a bad period because we have to help you get through what you're going through. I think going back to what Janita said about it's a balance, and everybody's balance is different.
So
I,
So
how
it's not just my happiness; it's my happiness, but the balance matters as well.
so how long do you think that time frame? I know everybody has a time. You say, you just said everybody has a limit. I'm saying everybody has a breaking point, and you just said also that you made a commitment to this person. I'm saying, so what is that time for you? Like, I would like to ask everybody that question. Like, what is that time for you? You know what I'm saying? So whereas if your significant other is going through something and you feel like you are helpless in the situation to help that person, what is your time?
I feel like the scenario in which you're giving is you're unhappy because someone else is unhappy and you want them to be happy. So you are trying to do everything that you can do to help them. But at some point, they have to want to help themselves. And if they don't, it's all it's going to do is put that bad emotion on you. So if they're not going to want to help themselves, I can't do anything for you because you're just bringing me in a bad place, and then we're both unhappy. I would definitely give that person a chance, and I would love for them to be happy. I was actually in a situation similar to this. I wasn't. I was sad. The person just dipped. They ain't never asked me what was wrong. They just was like, oh, she's unhappy, so I'm unhappy, and I don't like being unhappy, so I'ma just dip. You never asked me what was wrong. Maybe you just asking me would have helped. Maybe
Right.
part of that is me wanting you to help me get through whatever I was going through. Because when you're upset, I ask you, how was your day? It's a give and take. The other person has to want to help themselves. And if eventually, if they're not trying to, if they just want to sulk, I'm not going to sit around and watch you sulk. We're going to work through it together. But if you're not trying, then I got to go, man. At some point, I'm going to have to
I
go.
have so many questions. So first of all, what I was saying, Wakita, he learns that in year two.
on like how to. But I have a question for the ladies. First question is just based on these responses that I'm getting. Do you guys believe in marriage?
Of course.
Okay. So once you enter or start the process of a marriage, I guess you have to take vows, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And usually it's what?
For
better or worse, sick,
For better, for worse,
whatever it is, right?
So death do us part.
Yeah. So, and then we talked. I heard, you lovely young ladies speak about. I need my mental health together, right?
Yeah.
And that supersedes the relationship.
Right, but you should come to the relationship whole already.
To me,
like I'm single.
From home when you got baggage. I don't understand. Like,
so listen.
No, you can still have baggage, but you should know how to deal with it by the time you're trying to be in a serious relationship with somebody or you're working on that.
Let's rewind. Marriage is not just a relationship, too.
Right.
That's a totally different thing. We've been talking about relationships. Marriage is a relationship, but it's a totally different form of relationship. When we're married, I made a commitment to you. That commitment is like it's supposed to be for a lifetime. Yeah, most of this conversation has been about relationships before marriage. I feel that's the vibe that I've been getting.
Okay.
So, yeah, but if you have the thought process, if you have the current thought process about how a relationship should exist leading up to a marriage, are you telling me that the moment that you get married, your entire value system changes or your thought process changes?
Not at all. I'm saying that once I've made the commitment for marriage, though, then there may more unhappy days than not may be acceptable, right? Because at this point, like, I'm definitely in it for the long run. When I'm in a relationship, I'm not necessarily, we're working towards something, but that commitment to be in this for a lifetime is not there yet. So we're still we're still working through year 2, year 3, right? Like we're still filling each other out and seeing where this is going. Whereas at the marriage point, we made a commitment. And it's not a switch. It's not a switch at all. It's not a switch, but it's just okay, we've already been through stuff. This is something else we're working through, we're getting through, and the commitment is different. That I will say that. I feel like the commitment is different at that point for certain. Like we were committed before, but now we're like, we're in this. We are life partners.
Marriage, there's a lot of things that have transpired before I'm ready to jump into a marriage. So there's a lot of people that are willing to get married in 5 months, 6 months, very quickly. So they have time to have these critical conversations to talk about when you're not feeling well, how do you act? Are you someone that gets your energy from yourself or from other people? They are very infatuated with each other and the idea of marriage, and so they jump into it very quickly without having this knowledge. So for me, before I've gotten to the marriage, in the relationship dating stage, that's where you're figuring out, okay, when this person is depressed, when this person is having whatever episode or dealing with some trauma, because we all deal with trauma, life happens. So how can I be assistance to you? What do you need to work through this? And it's through those conversations that it'll help to determine, is this someone that I truly am compatible with to get married to down the line? But a lot of people, especially when we get a little older, we're very quick to say, oh, I like you, we're cool, let's get married in 6 months. And then that's whenever people are ready to jump ship a lot quicker, really go through these experiences. So I'm not saying that the value system has changed. The value system was just tested well before we got married.
When I was younger, I used to play sports, organized sports. And one of my coaches would used to say, practice how you want to play, right? So I look at like the whole dating scenario as practice. And I guess my question to you guys is, at what point do you determine that you're practicing for the actual game? So at what point do you determine that, all right, I've met someone that I'm serious about moving forward with, and I'm going to transition my thought process from what it was previously to starting to factor in marriage techniques, all of those things that will keep you in your marriage longer? Like, when do you guys start that process?
For me, it started how I'm dating at the age I'm at now. The way I date now is not the way I dated in my 20s, and the way I dated in my 30s. The questions that I ask are different because for me, my mind is, yeah, whoever I'm dating or anything like that, I'm looking towards marriage, and so I'm in the practice realm, if you will, where the questions that if there was not the compatibility on that front up front, then yeah, it probably wouldn't be worth my time for us to date or converse or anything like that. So the type of conversations that we're having have changed significantly at this stage of my life versus previous stages in my life. And a lot of that has to do with just, I was in school when I was younger. I was still trying to establish myself in my career. I was still just living my best life. And so for me at that time, I was having, meet and greet people and having fun. So I don't think there's a set time that it just transitions. It's just, I think for each person, it's based on where you are in life and what is it that you want. So.
We'll touch in on a couple of things you guys mentioned. Like for instance, David, you was asking about the time that you can be with a person going through something. For me personally, I feel that reflects on your intentions for that person. If you see yourself with somebody, your patience reflects that. And it's also different for each person. Different people don't have patience. Some people have most patience. Some people are strong and they can go through that whole episode and experience with you. That's a part of compatibility. That's a part of, being strong for your partner, because that's what a relationship is. You have to pick your person up when they fall. You have to be there, when they need you. If you do that, then you're unwilling to be a true participant in that relationship. And like you ladies mentioned, being married, it's a different aspect. It's a different part of the mind. Not many people can compartmentalize like that. So if you can, that's awesome. As you can hear, the guys, they're practicing, like you said, the way they play, which is why I think guys are so indecisive when they meet somebody, because they're looking for that person that can make them feel like, okay, I can be with you for the long haul. I'm not just gonna, waste years and years, 2-3 years getting to know you when I know you're not the person. Whereas,
right.
if you can, be with somebody and then it's just a point where you say, this is my person. It's different for each person. I think as men and women, we go about it differently. I used to think for a woman, for the longest, I felt like women were the ones that were from day one seeing if you were the person they would marry. But as I got older, I realized, in different ages, you do the same thing men do. You just feeling out who you are, learning who you are as a woman and what you need and what you don't need. And then when you get to that point, you're looking for your person. So I want to end off with this last question. And I heard this from Will Smith, and I thought it was an interesting question the first time I heard it. And it's never left my mind because it was kind of powerful to me. And I want to see what you guys think. Do you feel that it's your partner's responsibility to make you happy?
No, absolutely not. They should add to your happiness. You should come to the relationship happy already. That's where a lot of relationships fail, because you're expecting someone to fill a void for you, and you should be whole when you come into a relationship, or even working on trying to be whole on mental. That's what we talk about, my mental sanity and my mental health. I need to be happy before I date someone. I've realized in the past that when I'm not, the relationship doesn't work, because I'm looking for them to make me happy, and then when they don't, I feel let down. And I shouldn't, as a partner, you shouldn't put that much responsibility on someone else.
Okay.
Agree. So it's not your partner's responsibility. I'm saying like what Keita said, you come to the relationship, I'm saying, the way you are, I'm saying, and if you're a happy person, I'm saying you should be, I'm saying, be able to be happy regardless of what's going on around you, regardless of, I'm saying, what may transpire. Now, I do have a question. okay, you're going through a relationship, you know what I'm saying, 2, 3 years, whatever the case may be, before marriage, you know what I mean? And then you should have worked through all the kinks. You know what I'm saying? You should have already went through all the processes of up and downs, you know what I'm saying, the depression, you know what I'm saying,
Oh,
the
No,
relationship
no,
even
no,
though
no.
No.
you can't ask my question. Can I ask my question?
you're paraphrasing.
So
You paraphrasing us wrong.
what's up? I'm trying to ask my question. Try to ask my question. So what happens if, let's say that the whole time, you know what I'm saying, that you're with that person, regardless of if it's 2, 3 years, you know what I'm saying, regardless if it's 5, 10 years, whatever the case may be, or whatever, this 6 to 8 months, let's say whatever the time limit is. Let's say that you have never experienced, you know what I'm saying, that type of emotional, you know what I mean, breakdown, or that type of emotional trauma, that emotional challenge, you know what I'm saying, until after you guys are married. This is a first experience for your spouse. This is first experience for you. You know what I'm saying? So the same stuff, the same standards that you had when you was in a relationship, you know what I'm saying, prior to marriage, you know what I'm saying, now all of a sudden you're in a relationship, you're in a marriage now you're dealing with this, and you guys already said, well, my mental happiness, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the third. How does that how do you address that? Like how does that all of a sudden change? You know what I'm saying? I know you guys made a commitment, but you guys were all like, my mental happiness, you know what I'm saying, my is the most important thing. Yeah, you're gonna compromise and all that good stuff, but what are you gonna do now? How do you navigate that? Very
So for
curious to know.
me, someone else's unhappiness is not going to make me unhappy. So
Okay.
I would try to work with them through their pain before or even after. Like I have done that in the past. Someone unhappy, they lost their job, they were completely like destroyed. Do today when I get off from work? What you doing? How was your day? It wasn't a good day. Well, we're gonna sit here together and we're gonna look for jobs together. Or throughout the day, if I had time, I would send them job requisitions that I thought they would be interested in, just to give them motivation. Now, if they don't want to do
They
anything,
don't like
that's
that.
totally different. But when you're married, you have to continue with that process. You have to until that person is better. Happened before, so because you know that's not their natural character. So you're gonna want to work with them even harder, or at least I would want to be there for them even more, because I know that whatever they're going through, this is not normal. This is not something they've never, or I haven't experienced with this particular person. So I know that they need me more than ever right now.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody who's just always miserable, nah, you got to go.
It's not their responsibility to make you happy, but it is their responsibility to contribute to your happiness.
Definitely.
Okay.
As within a relationship, a partnership, you both should want to make each other happy, regardless of if it's a responsibility or not. You should be wanting to do things that show that are considering them, you're thinking about them, you value them, and so by default, because you are exhibiting these actions, the happiness is going to come, regardless of if it's an obligation of yours or not. That should be something that if you want to be around that person, you want to be involved with that person, you should want to contribute to their happiness, not necessarily because it's required.
I agree, but again, I think I gotta make it a point. It is not, when you say responsibility, you make it seem like it's like, yo, this is part of the job description. Like you have to, you know what I'm saying, do these things to make me happy. No, I don't agree with that. You know what I'm saying, I agree with the fact that, you know what I'm saying, you should definitely want to make your partner happy. Yes, you should want to. I mean, that it should be a part of you. You know what I'm saying, I think if you're in a relationship with somebody and you love with somebody and you genuinely care about that person, you will do things to want to make them happy, you know what I'm saying, without asking or whatever the case may be. I don't think it's the responsibility. I can't. When you put a responsibility on it, it's like saying like, yo, you buy a dog, you're responsible for this dog. Like, if you don't take this dog out, it's gonna die. You don't feed it. You know what I'm saying, like it's you responsible to make sure that this dog survives. It's like that's not it. But you should definitely want to do that. You know what I'm saying, you should definitely want to make that person happy. You should definitely want that person to smile. You know what I'm saying, as much as possible. You should definitely want to be, you know what I'm saying, around that person. You know what I'm saying, but it's not your responsibility to make that person happy. You know what I'm saying, you should want to do things to make them happy, but it's not your responsibility. Not.
This one hit home.
No, I'm just saying, like, cause I feel like so many times that like when people get in a relationship, it's like, yo, like they go out and they see they see other people in different relationships doing different things, and they're like, oh my God, well, my spouse didn't do, my significant cousin didn't do this to me, or my spouse didn't do that, why you didn't do this? And they start questioning their relationship, and they start questioning their partner, like, yo, like, if you're happy with you, you know what I'm saying, you shouldn't be looking to other people's relationships or other people's, you know what I'm saying, what that person is doing for that specific spouse. Their relationship may be a whole completely different dynamic and a completely different level. You know what I'm saying? So, but the way, and it also goes down to the way people show affection. Different people show affection different ways. Like, I think how you show affection and how you show that you want this person to be happy, you know what I'm saying, I think you should want to do that. But I definitely don't think that it's a responsibility. I can't say, you know what I'm saying, to my wife, oh, I'm not happy. You know what I'm saying? You didn't make me happy today. You know what I'm saying? It's month, you know what I'm saying? It's the 15th of the month and you didn't do anything to make me happy. Like, it's not your responsibility to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like kind gestures every now and then to show that you care about somebody, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what it is. And I think that's enough. You know what I'm saying? It's not
I feel like
I'll say what I will say, I think is the responsibility of self is communicating to your partner what are the things that need to make you happy. So if you know that your love language is gifts or your love language is affection, then you need to communicate those are things that make me happy. And then again, if they're not, now if they choose to hear that information and not run with it or not take it on, that's a whole other conversation. But you can't expect someone to do things to make you happy when you've never told them that XYZ makes you happy. Or someone, someone seeing someone else doing something for somebody else. Well, baby, I didn't know that you wanted that too. So I mean, if you would have said that up front, then for me, it's communication is where a lot of these problems would be solved if people just talk and ask things versus be wrapped up in the infatuation phase early on.
And if you go walking down the street and see somebody else doing something and you're like, oh, he don't do that, like, first you're insecure and you don't know what you want until you see somebody else. Then you need to fix yourself first before you even get in a relationship, because you don't even know what you want until you see somebody else doing it. That's their problem. Like she said, communication is key. And yeah, you're supposed to add to happiness, not get
with most of the above. I should already be happy, and my partner contributes to my happiness. I can't look for that person to always make me happy. Inside my core, I need happiness, but need happiness. But that person should, contribute to the happiness, want to make me happy, want to know, what are things I can do to make you happy, and vice versa. So just adding to the happiness that's already there.
Definitely. For me, that question resonated with me because I feel like as a good partner, we try to make our partners happy, but that's not what we should be really focusing on, because you don't really know what they need. You don't really know what they want. Like Janita pointed out, you can point out superficial things, but that's things of the moment. Those things aren't going to really add substance to your relationship and keeping you happy. You, as a good partner, you should want to do things that make them happy, and you give them things that you feel they deserve. So for me, even though we all agree that, your partner isn't responsible for making you happy, a lot of us as good partners take on the role and the responsibility of trying to make our partners happy, when in actuality, we should be trying to not alter their happiness, because they should be happy. Like you said, we should not make them less than happy. It is our responsibility. You can agree that it is, at least that point, our responsibility not to take a happy person and make them miserable. So if they come to you happy, at least turn the sender, send it back the same way you got it. But that's the time, y'all. And I want to definitely thank you guys for taking the time out to speak with me. It was awesome hearing you guys' point of view. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share,